Up All Night. Love at Night Series Book 1. Written by Larissa Hommes. Performed by Amanda Friday and Andy Harrington.
Chapter 1. West. Thump, thump, thump. The steady rhythm of the bass and some song I didn't recognize reverberated through my ceiling and down the walls. Joining the insanely loud music was heavy footfalls timed to land with the beat. I obviously couldn't see what my neighbor was doing at the moment, but I pictured her with an evil grin on her face as she turned the volume as high as it would go before stomping all over the room she knew was directly above my bedroom. We'd had a few run-ins, and none of them had gone well, and by that I mean they were disasters. Throwing snide remarks, chucking barbs at one another, with plenty of sneering and gnashing of teeth added in for good measure. Yeah, it wasn't pleasant. I normally wasn't a contentious person, but there was something about her, with her flippant attitude, living in her own world without any thought to those around her, that drove me crazy. She needed to move. There were plenty of other apartment buildings in San Francisco where she could live, just not this one. I'd complained several times to the superintendent, but hadn't been successful in getting her evicted. I was convinced she had some superpower that had the older man tricked into thinking she was a sweet, well-tempered, picture-perfect renter. If only he knew her true nature. She was loud, inconsiderate, rude, and loud. Okay, so I didn't have a long list of her negative characteristics, but that didn't mean I didn't have a valid reason for her to be kicked out. When you lived in an apartment building, it was good manners to be conscious of those on the other side of your walls, and even more of those neighbors who lived below you. She'd never once spared a thought for her neighbor downstairs, me. From the day she'd moved in, it was like she was the only person living in the building. She didn't care that I'd gotten in bed after a relaxing routine of a hot shower and meditation before lying down in my extremely comfortable king-sized bed, closing my eyes as I looked forward to getting a solid 8 hours of sleep, only to be abruptly interrupted with whatever type of hip-hop or pop music she was listening to. I couldn't even be sure what type of music this was. All I knew was that it was 10 decibels too high. I laid there staring, my eyes burning imaginary holes in the ceiling, and wishing that little old Mrs. Henriksen still lived there. She had been the best neighbor. She was quiet and kind and would bring me her incredible Danish desserts. Sadly, those days were gone. Instead...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?